Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Death Row History Channel. I am your host, Mr. Toad. We have a lot to cover tonight, so I will be very quick with the first part of this video. The winner of the most humane method of execution by a very narrow margin was the firing squad, of course, because who doesn't like the firing squad? I mean, it's as American as apple pie. Okay, I am about to do another series of videos on what I think is a very, very important milestone in the history of the death penalty. And that is a government commission. I know. People think government commissions or government, boards or anything, and they think, these boring debates about protocol and this, that, and the other. But that's not always the case. The commission I'm talking about is officially titled the Commission to Investigate and Report the Most Humane and Practical Method of Carrying into Effect the Sentence of Death in Capital Cases. Okay, maybe I was wrong. The thing about government commissions is they have titles a mile long. But today, that commission is known as the New York Death Commission. And for justifiable means. I mean, it was in the state of New York, and this was in 1887. New York outlawed hanging. They had to find an alternative. So the next four videos, this one and three more, will be over the New York Death Commission. Today will be the history. The next video will be the methods that were suggested. After that will be the debates. And then finally will be the method that was chosen, which if you know history or you know the death penalty, you know what the method is. I'm not going to give it away, but yeah. Okay, so the New York Death Commission was three men in New York State, as I said, had outlawed hanging. So they had to find a new method. So they went to one Eldridge Jerry or Gary, I really don't know. It's Gerry. For the sake of this video, I'm going to call him Eldridge Jerry. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Mr. Jerry was the grandson of a signer of the Declaration of Independence and the 5th Vice President of the United States. The second guy was one Matthew Hale, whose grandfather had famously regretted that he had but one life to give for his country. So we got two patriots, or the descendants of patriots. Who could the third be? Why, the third was a dentist from Buffalo, New York, by the name of Alfred Southwick, who's not famous at all. The Jerry family and the Hale family, we know from history, very famous. The Southwick family, not so much. Okay, now, in this trio was appointed to the New York State Legislature appointed this trio to the commission. So this commission was charged with finding a replacement for hanging. So you had a whole group of people, but it would become known as the Jerry Report, named after the aforementioned Mr. Jerry. And the point of this commission was to find a humane way for New York to put condemned men and women to death. But the thing with hanging was, hanging had been used in America since the colonial times. It had been used since the 1700s, and a lot of people in New York at that time thought, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They didn't see a problem with it. But by 1880, for a large part of the history, they didn't see a problem with it. By 1880, things had changed. People were starting to say, well, it's too barbaric, we need to get rid of it, all that stuff. So, they outlawed it, and the reason officially they outlawed it is because the newspapers were starting to post a lot of stories about botched hangings and how gruesome they really were. When you do public hangings, these things tend to happen. That's why by the 1950s, most states started executing in private and picking and choosing which rich reporters were allowed in the chamber. That's also the reason why, even to this day, cameras are not allowed in the death chamber in most states during an execution. You can watch documentaries and find videos of people, touring death chambers. But on execution day, cameras are banned for this reason. They don't want the public to know what an execution is like. Okay, so we've established the three men. We've established why hanging was outlawed. And the thing is that they felt as though that there must be a more progressive way to execute people somewhere. So, with marching orders, the three men cataloged every conceivable method in which the state could dispatch a person from mortal realm. Okay. So, once they were told, we need you to do this, they sat down with the commission and they came up with a whole list of methods. They 34 in all. I'll read off what they were next video, and but they were in alphabetical order. Some methods were described in a single paragraph, while others, which presumably the other authors found more interesting, took several pages to illustrate what they were. So, you have this commission that's sole job is to choose a new method of death. I somehow do not feel as though that would be something you would put on a resume. Like, how can you get a job after that? Oh yeah, I was on the New York Death Commission. Yeah, your services are no longer... Yeah, we won't be needing your services. But yes, that's how it happened. That commission played a key role at that point in American history with the way that the death penalty would be administered for the rest of the 20th century. Or for the rest of the 19th century and all of the 20th century. There are a few names on this list that we will see later. And the winner of the list we will definitely see later. But there's some of them that I'm just like, really, folks? That's really what you came up with? So, stay with me as we continue diving into this important moment in history. This has been this is part 1. So yeah, just I hope that you enjoy the video. I hope that y'all are enjoying the content. Let me know, comment down below, and you know, share the videos, like the videos, comment, interact with me. If you have, you know, just let me know. I definitely enjoy the comments from people, so just keep them coming. This is everybody's favorite mythical creature, the one and only Mr. Toad, saying, I'm gone.